You are live on 98.9 Northwest FM. I am Nathan. As always, joined by James. How you going, James? What's made you happy in the last week?
We talked about this off air. Big news that the new Warner Brothers Clockwork label, which we talked about a couple of weeks ago,
they're actually doing stuff.
Doing stuff, and there's apparently a 4K restoration of Ken Russell's The Devils.
Also coming to theaters, apparently.
Coming to theaters, and then hopefully that'll mean it'll get a physical release.
Yeah, and it's the proper director's cut as well.
Yeah, which is huge news if you know about the history of the film. It basically
got banned.
pretty much.
The studio was like, in the vault you go.
And it was released once on DVD in the UK, which I have that version, and I never thought I'd see it again. So... released properly. So it's like a big taboo that everyone in the industry knows. It's like Warner Brothers does not like this movie and will not restore it and re-release it. So the fact that it looks like it's happening, pretty big news. Pretty awesome.
Yeah. Also, doing about Alan. How you going, Alan? What's made you happy recently?
I got a new pair of work boots.
And
They're
Alan was
pretty fancy. They're laceless. They've got this little thing called a boa.
He's rocking the Back to the Future.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
You pull it up.
We'd learn it.
And
Callum's trying to operate.
And they loosen immediately. There's no zip, no lace. It is some lovely stainless steel covered
Always
in
on
nylon.
The cutting edge of technology in the studio.
And I have paid for it greatly, not financially because I'll get reimbursed. More so, I think I have had to buckle these boots up about 35 times today because
they loosen.
There's haters. My co-workers are haters.
People unclipping.
They've been unclipping them.
They better be careful because you could kick him in the head with your steel cap.
Yeah. So, that'll happen in the future. But, I'm quite happy with these. Like I said, it's free 99, as I like to say. When I'm a working man, the company has to pay for them. But, it's nice to get a fresh pair of boots every year and, remind yourself that... it's the finer things in life, like working for the company.
Also, joined by Callum. What's made you happy recently, Callum?
The best
being alive.
That's not making.
I think that's the opposite.
Look, I got a new jumper. I'm wearing it today. I got it on the weekend.
Oh, very nice.
It's really comfortable.
Don't you have something like that already? Or is that Nathan?
No. I have something
Nathan
similar.
bought a new one recently.
But this one, the one I have, doesn't have the pattern that this one has.
It's like a cable knit.
Yeah, but this one is very comfortable, and it's not like the other one I have is a bit too thick. This is not as thick. Yeah,
it's like navy blue.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
As for me, what made me happy was, I guess, what we're going to talk about. Specifically, the dinner made me happy. Getting everyone together and having a good group dinner in the city.
Plus GC.
And he's one of the boys. It's fine. So we caught up with some friends and had dinner in the city before we saw Jimmy Carr.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, I guess, where we'll begin.
Yeah. And I had an adventurous meal.
Yes. So we had a fancy restaurant, which we don't always go out to, but we enjoyed ourselves.
Yeah. Expensive, but nice.
Yeah.
It was like Chinese, like Hong...
It was like a fusion.
Asian fusion.
Bit of Malaysian, bit of Singapore.
Yeah. Japanese. I think it said Japanese on the thing, but it was like a bit of a different...
Yeah, some rendangs and stuff.
Yeah. So it's something different.
Yeah, it was good.
So we saw Jimmy Carr last week, and I think we all had a good time. I'd never been to a Jimmy Carr show, and I'm guessing neither of any other boys in the studio.
Not a live one, no.
No, so...
Look, they could have had some other guy standing down there. I couldn't make out his face. And you got told me it was Jimmy Carr on the screen.
Yeah, I mean, we did have nosebleed seats.
It's funny because his suit looked different in person
than on the Jumbotron.
Yeah, this is some random guy.
Yeah, well, that's
Could you imagine?
Someone made a comment about his hair color, and because the Jumbotron blows it out a little bit, his hair color in person looked darker than on the Jumbotron.
Yeah,
I think it's the Jumbotron was kind of
the camera that they use. Yeah,
and because he was being blasted by light, and then the camera.
Yeah, so it kind of
and the cameras are very far away, so they're always zoomed.
Yeah, so it blew out the colors a little bit.
But that would be like so pointless to have an actor miming every single moment of the pre-recorded like.
But no, it was good. I think we'll start at the beginning as well. Obviously, we went to one of the arenas here, and it was a big show.
John Cain
Arena, and the food and drinks were prohibitively expensive. Which you get that everywhere, right? You get that everywhere. But my first disappointment, my only real disappointment, was there was no merch.
Yeah, we
wanted to pick up some merch for our boy Jake who couldn't make it, and there was no merch.
Yeah, got there early and.
at least sell some T-shirts or do something. You know what I mean? We wanted to buy something.
Yeah.
Even in one of those little, booklets, like if you go to a theatre show, you can get like a little booklet.
Well, that I don't think they do at comedy shows, but yeah,
no, but you know what I mean?
Just
I'd like a little program.
Yeah, caps.
Or like one of those A4 style card thing.
Yeah.
I say that, but we did get some free earplugs from the state.
Yeah.
Just, we didn't need them, but you know.
Important. They come in handy one day.
Yeah, we'll give those to Jake. Here's some
just
earplugs.
write Jimmy Carr on them.
That's it.
Like,
Jimmy Carr
earplugs, brand earplugs.
They were orange, and the whole motif of the show was orange, so we can swing it.
Yeah.
Don't listen to
lighting.
this, Jake. But, it was one of those things where it's like, I guess. But
yeah.
But the show itself was good. I think having it at John Cain Arena was smart because this is probably the largest venue. I think his show's format could sustain well. Because I think the jokes and the ha-has are fine, but when he opens it up to comments and people are yelling I don't think he can get
Which is larger, John Cain or
Sean
Margaret?
McHale. Sorry.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
Which is larger, John Cain or Margaret Court?
Margaret Court's smaller, I think.
Yeah, I would have done it in Margaret Court even.
I think John Cain is the biggest.
I think you need a compromise too, because you need to he's big enough that he sells enough tickets, but also you need something small enough that people can yell out.
It's an awkward show setup because there was 11,000 people in the audience. For our show. Pretty good turnout, sold out show, and it's the way he does some jokes and then he stops and he breaks it up and he'll invite questions, comment, heckle, jokes.
He's like just yell something out and we'll talk about it.
And so I think that,
and he takes questions on the
that's later,
but I think he runs the risk of if the arena's too big, then it's not going to work as well. But I think it worked well, and I think this arena was as large as it could have been before it got unworkable. But I did like that about the show, that he would do the jokes and then he would stop and talk with people.
Because usually a stand-up show is like an hour of the jokes and the end, and okay, you go. But this was like over 2 hours.
Well, it was built for 90 minutes, and we got 2 hours, if not a bit more.
When I looked it up, it said that his non-stadium shows generally go for about 90 minutes, but if he's performing at a stadium show, it usually goes closer to 2 hours.
But 90 minutes is still good. I mean,
most comics are like an hour.
And it's just them on stage.
And his routine is like joke.
Whereas
he's not like a storyteller comedian.
Yeah, exactly. Jimmy Carr does jokes. He doesn't do like stories and then a punchline. He just tells short jokes. But he broke it up in a way where, he did like groupings of topics of like, here's jokes about this. And then he opened up to the audience and everyone was yelling, and then he'd riff on that. And then he'd go back to like some grouping jokes on another thing, and he opened up. And then at the end, you could text in a number that was like on the screen, and he would read them out and like talk to people in the audience about what they sent in. So it was like this broken up, not variety show, but it had a
it worked.
And
I think also what's interesting about Jimmy Carr as a comedian is that when he does a show like this, humanizing him and the audience is the wrong word, but it's like his jokes are all most of the time there for shock value. They're vulgar, they're rude, right? And then someone will ask him a question and he gives just really
a genuine answer,
genuine human answers.
I think.
And it kind of like, it breaks, as you said, it's more like a variety show almost, where it's like, all right, the jokes are stopping for a second and I'm giving you some man-to-man advice.
But it's not all, like it's funny, but then it's also like if someone asks something serious, like
he takes it seriously.
He'll be, and then he might make a joke a bit about it later, or sometimes he'll talk to someone seriously about something, and then he'll do a joke, and then he'll call back to that, and I was like, oh, that's funny. Like he's very quick.
He's quick on his feet.
Like there was one section in this show where he talked about domestic violence, and you could hear a pin drop. It was like not funny, right? He was talking like seriously for a moment, and the audience was like they were like on his every word.
And you run the risk of like some dick in the audience trying to make a a bigger joke about it or something, like while he's
But no, that's how good he is. He's able to control the audience.
Control the crowd. That's it.
His crowd work was unbelievable.
The only mistake he made was that he did a section where he was talking about how men need to be more open with each other or whatever, and he wanted two friends who are in the audience to say I love you. I would have, and then he told the audience not to say gay. That was like the joke. He's like, we all know you want to do it.
It's about toxic masculinity.
I would have had him go gay and then move on.
I think that's what he was leading up to. But then everyone else started yelling, and then he was like, all right, let's move on.
But yeah, so he's good about that. Through all the dirty jokes and the vulgarity, he kind of has those good positive messages I think people need to hear about toxic masculinity. And
I mean, he's not the perfect
No, I'm not saying
guy,
he's a perfect man,
yeah,
but like he generally comes at these places from a place of these are jokes, but he's like be a good person.
Yeah, that's it.
Which is why I like, I like offensive comedy. I like stupid jokes and stuff. So like that's why I like Jimmy Carr. But it's like sometimes it's the people in the audience you have to worry about.
That's it.
It's the whole South Park thing where
That's right.
South Park are just making stupid jokes, and then the people watching it being like, weirdos, like really weird about certain things and taking certain jokes about certain minorities or whatever a bit too seriously and too far in terms of their own personal.
Well, to some people, they're not jokes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they start. It's like. Yeah, so you get in a sticky situation when you kind of.
There was a gentleman behind.
Directly behind me.
Yeah, and and like, but behind, I was seated next to Alan.
Whoever you are, sir, I hope you get hemorrhoids.
no, deserved. There was a guy sitting behind Alan, and I was next to Alan. Doing was next to Alan.
Yeah.
But he, for some reason, I don't know what I'm presuming it was to elicit a response. He kept yelling out in the loudest voice possible, Sean McAuliffe.
To be fair,
no question.
Yeah, no. When Jimmy Carr opens up to the audience, everyone can yell at anything they want, and if Jimmy hears it and takes that, you respond. And some people were yelling out names that they wanted Jimmy to talk about.
Yeah.
And this guy, for some reason, really wanted Jimmy to talk about Sean McAuliffe. And because he was all the way at the back, he was yelling as loud as he possibly could.
Yelling, Sean McAuliffe. Number one, what are the chances that he knows Sean McAuliffe specifically? Maybe he does.
He might be aware
he's also
of him.
He's also like a local comedian to us. It's not like a huge,
international.
But I'm like, buddy, come on.
It's like, but it's also kind of just like if it was yelling at Dave Chappelle or something that's interesting. Everyone knows him. He's in the zeitgeist. But Sean McAuliffe's a very specific niche.
Also, he's like
international.
I mean, do Zoomers know Sean McAuliffe?
Well, I don't think that guy was a Zoomer, was he?
No, probably around our age. But my point is like millennials know Sean McAuliffe, sure. Yeah, but how relevant is Sean McAuliffe?
But he's not thinking about
he just wants
the median age of the audience. He's just like, I want to know what Jimmy thinks about this.
It was frustrating as hell.
And I don't know if it was positive or negative. Like, is he saying, I love Sean McAuliffe and I want you to talk about him? Or was he saying, Sean McAuliffe sucks and I want Jimmy to roast him?
But it was good. There was one incident.
Jimmy never responded or heard.
He almost did. No, he almost did. I don't know if you guys were... He yelled out Sean McAuliffe and then Jimmy looked over our way.
Yeah.
And he was like, what? And then someone else yelled something and that's
the other thing is people just
he was about to
yelling.
respond to Sean McAuliffe, but then someone else yelled out an actual question and then he was like, oh, okay. And then he...
Yeah.
I think there was one just random name yelling that was good and that was Sean Locke. Have you watched 8 out of 10 Cats? And
no, but
so Sean Locke was a comedian who met Jimmy Carr on the TV show 8 out of 10 Cats Do Countdown.
He's an absolute. Well, he was an absolute G.
And,
rest in peace.
Him and Jimmy Carr were very close, and then Sean Locke passed away.
But that's why it was relevant to.
Yeah, and that's why it was relevant. So Jimmy gave a good story that was very funny about Sean Locke, and I appreciated that moment too.
Yeah,
my favorite Sean Locke moment is when they play on 8 out of 10 Cats. Plays Countdown, is to play a game called Hide the Carrot. And it's not as rude as you would think.
If any of the audience are listening, I highly encourage you to get on watch 8 out of 10 Cats Do Countdown. Just watch playlists on YouTube or if you can't find
just search Sean Locke, Hide the Carrot. Jimmy's in it, Sean's in it, there's the other guy, I forgot his name, but it is probably one of the best scenes of comedic espionage.
Those British panel shows are just next level.
8 out of 10 Cats Do Countdown specifically is our boy Jake's pretty much one of his favorite shows, and it is just amazing comedy from start to finish every episode. And they're also playing Countdown, so you also got that game element where you're trying to work out the numbers and the letters and everything else. So
I every year I watch the Jimmy Carr hosts the is it the big fat quiz of the year. So they're like comedians. It's like a panel show with comedians, and they go through everything that happened at the end. Of,
that'd be fun.
It's like a New Year's show. I always watch it. It's really fun.
He'd be an interesting man to talk to, have like a proper interview, and like just tell me about how how are you so quick and like I want to know about all these shows. And
I guess it's like people. It's like any performer, like actor or whatever, it's like, how do you remember the lines? How do you
like-
not?
Well, yeah, we were talking about how did he remember? He told so many jokes.
Yeah.
I can't even tell you how many.
And on top of the jokes, he has to riff, like
Yeah.
improv,
Yeah. It's like, how do you-
improvise
yeah.
things, and
He must have a memory palace of some sort.
Yeah, I guess
Nuts.
some people are just
He's
like
just
that.
gifted in that way.
Yeah.
But like we had a good time. I was also surprised at the demographics. There was a lot of older people, more than I thought there would
No,
be.
yeah, they love that. They love that.
I just
stuff.
didn't
My mum
think
hates him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
just didn't-
she's
she's a bit conservative in that way.
Yeah, I mean,
I think I was just surprised. I thought
But I
the younger
think
people might be on him because he's all over the TikToks and whatnot. I don't
no,
know.
but he's been around for so long, and
That's true.
he, like I was saying, there is a specific group of people who perhaps lean to a certain political ideology that when they hear offensive jokes go, yes, I'm...
Take that, snowflakes.
Yeah, exactly. And so, like Nathan was like, there's a bit of old people. I hope they don't get offended. I'm like, no, they love this shit. They are on board with this shit. Maybe too much on board, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think... But everyone... Yeah, there were young people, there were old people.
Mm.
He's a well-known...
Yeah, no, so I
Korean
think
and-
we had a good time, and we'd never been to a stand-up show of this kind of size before. We've been to the,
The biggest-
well, James might have,
I have.
but the rest of the boys, it's just been like the Comics Lounge.
The biggest one I can think of is I saw Robin Williams 15 years ago.
Oh damn!
It might have been his last time in Australia. It was a long time ago.
Where did he play?
I think it was Rod Laver. It was big. It was huge.
Yeah.
It was one of the like huge ones.
But yeah, so it was the first time that I guess we'd had that kind of experience.
Yeah.
And I found it was good. I had a good time.
Yeah, because most stand-up shows aren't like the arena unless you're seeing
Yeah.
someone
Like
as
we've
big as.
gone to the Comics Lounge a few times
Yeah.
and have been a little disappointed in some ways.
I mean, yeah, but to be
Well-
fair, when we go to the Comics Lounge, it's normally on the day where it's
They
kind of
test
just
material.
Yeah, but I'm
It's-
like,
it's
you can't be testing the same material 8 months later, mate. All right? I heard this joke 8 months ago. Don't you start the shit again.
Maybe they're just really
Or
not sure
some-
about it.
or
Alan.
some-
like... Actually, Jimmy had something about that. Someone asked him advice about it. And he's like, "Don't be afraid to let jokes go."
Yeah, let him
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
I think some comedians probably need that lesson too.
Yeah.
Just let it go. If it doesn't work,
he was
let
like
it go.
testing jokes. He's like, I'm going to say this and then see
Yeah.
if it works. And if it works, I'll continue saying it. If not,
Well, that was really interesting. I wonder if that's authentic or scripted. Because that'd be really interesting
Probably
if it's
authentic.
I think, I mean,
Most comedians will tell you they keep
then-
a book and they write jokes like almost
yeah,
every day.
but then also you can have a crowd, you say a joke and no one laughs. And then the next day you say the exact same joke in the exact same way
Yeah.
and the audience, it kills. So it's just like,
Yeah.
you've got to just keep trying material and,
Well, as they say, you got to kill your darlings.
well, then, I mean, but sometimes you got to work on
Yeah,
stuff and
yeah.
see if it works in a different, different time or,
Yeah.
yeah, but it was a good show.
It was good. Something different.
Funny, haha.
Yeah, some ha-has.
Yeah.
Many ha-has.
Yes.
We'll move along.
And
I
a few
suppose.
drinks.
And a few drinks, yeah.
Looking at someone specifically.
you also participated.
I had one.
Really need one.
Yeah, but how many standard drinks per can were they, Al, James?
I like
Good point. And I was on a,
Freudian slip, Alan.
and I was on a and I was on a empty stomach, so
Yeah.
it got to be
Good times. Drink responsibly.
yeah.
on private property.
That's it. Look, we will move on. Given the recent scares of hantavirus and kind of,
Not to be confused with hentai virus.
It's a concern.
it is. That's always a concern.
It's when you
When you're downloading terabytes,
Yeah, when
it's
you're
like,
not going
you
to the right
don't know-
websites, you don't have your VPN on. Next thing you know, you got the hentai virus. It's very hard to explain to your parents why you got to wipe the PC.
I think I've seen I think I've seen some of those videos with the virus that infects certain.
No, so we watched. Did you get a chance to watch the DVD, Al?
I don't watch the DVD, but I watched it on Prime.
Mate,
I'll give
he's
back-
got my 4K and he hasn't given it back, and he's
Fine.
watching it on Prime.
Wait,
instead
did you
of
give him the
4K.
full? I thought you gave him the Blu-ray.
No, I
It's a
lent him the
4K
full,
Blu-ray.
I
Oh.
lent him the 4K.
You
disc.
did not.
I did. I would never lend you a 4K. No,
Callum-
James will be my witness here, mate. If I buy a 4K, am I going to give him my
No,
4K?
Callum
Yeah,
gave
there's
it to
no
me.
way.
Callum gave it to me. He's like, we got a copy already. Here's
No,
yours.
no. Alan gets the doubles of the Blu-rays we already have because James already has all the editions anyway. He doesn't need them.
I assumed you had the Blu-ray because then you bought the 4K and you talked about on the show a while ago. And I assumed if the one you gave him was a Blu-ray.
No. I would never give away the 4K that I spent good money on.
Yeah.
You get the Blu-rays that are doubles.
Yeah.
Oh.
And you didn't even watch it anyway, so it doesn't
I'll
matter.
watch the damn movie, all right?
Yeah, no, you watched the movie, but you didn't watch the
4K is
disc.
delicious.
Yeah, so you can't complain about not keeping the disc if you're not going to watch the
Yeah,
disc.
no, that was just funny.
Anyway, we'll move along.
Anyway,
So, given the current climate, we thought it would be a goof to watch
Contagion.
Contagion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is one of my favorites by Steven Soderbergh.
Yeah, I mean, do you guys, I don't know if you guys remember, just like when the pandemic, like the COVID-19 pandemic was kind of kicking off, we were, and there was stuff in the news, and it was like, we should probably lock down here in Australia, but the government's useless, and it's like, we didn't really know. It's like, should we go to work? It was like in this weird stage, and we were like, let's do an Outbreak and Contagion double feature, because those are like two of my favorite movies, and I love that subgenre of like disease, infection, thriller
with management and
yeah,
politics.
It's like I love those kind of movies. Outbreak is one of my favorites, and Contagion one of my favorites. Stuff like Andromeda Strain, or even like 12 Monkeys has elements of that. And we were like, ooh, let's do like a double. It's like, haha, COVID movie double feature, haha. And I remember I watched Outbreak, and before I watched Contagion, I think we went into lockdown and we stopped doing the show, and we were like, yeah, let's just not, this is not fun anymore. And we were just like,
it's now fun again.
Yeah, it's like, and I don't think I rewatched Contagion at all during the pandemic. And I was just like, you know what? It was fun, but to think about, but now it's just kind of depressing.
Also, to keep in mind, Contagion was released in 2011.
Yeah.
Many years before COVID. And the beautiful thing about this movie is it pretty much predicts exactly how people behave.
In a way,
to an
yeah.
extent.
It's maybe not as
there are
in certain elements it's more exaggerated, in certain
Yeah.
elements it's not.
There are elements that it's like, obviously they never predicted. So also at the time, social media wasn't the same as it was when COVID happened.
But we still get elements of those kinds of people represented.
Oh yeah,
right?
easy.
You get the
Jude Law
cookers,
character.
You get so we do get all of that represented, which I found really interesting.
Yeah, and it's also like it's why why I love the movie. One of the reasons I love the movie is that it's not like a 3-hour epic about all the response over the world. It's like a tight 100-minute, 105-minute like thriller. Like it's just like, and you get a few perspectives about. So it does cover a lot in that way. It's very well written, very well edited and shot, and it's like you get a lot in a short time. And it's not really
it's not a sprawling epic. Yeah. It's not a sprawling epic, but it covers a lot of ground.
Yeah, and it is, looking back on it after COVID, it's like, oh yeah, they did get a lot right, and obviously that's because it's based on a lot of science and based on other, pandemics that have happened in history. So, but yeah, it's just as a movie, like it's just so entertaining and well shot, and I love the soundtrack, the score by Cliff Martinez, and it has these like really cool like science montages, and yeah, how we always talk about how we like movies with problem solving, like people are doing stuff. Like this movie is basically all about that. It's like finding the patient zero and finding
the R number.
The vaccine, and like planning like how to roll out certain things. And so it's like really cool. And it's got this kind of driving energy behind it that I really like, and it looked really I bought the 4K as well, and it looked so nice because it's one of those very sharp digital movies, but in a good way.
Yeah, and it's full frame as well, which also helps.
It's just it was so crispy and like everything.
And the colors pop.
Yeah, and it's not like movies now, like how the digital movies are just so flat and boring and grey.
Yeah. This is a good example of how to do digital really well.
Yeah, exactly. Like very, like still well lit and like high fidelity, but like, it's like still interesting imagery and camera movement and whatever, and editing and stuff like that. Yeah, so it's just such a cool movie, and like obviously thinking about it in terms of the recent COVID-19 pandemic and now with the hantavirus. And I saw something, a headline, I didn't read into it. There's something called the norovirus as well, which I'm like, is that a different thing? Is there another
Norovirus is a long-running virus.
Okay, because maybe there was a new case.
It was invented by Nora Ephron.
Thank you.
So if you get the norovirus,
you just have to watch when Harry Met
Yeah,
Sally.
I'm fine. I think we got that. We got that a long time ago.
That's
That's the only time I'll be an anti-vax.
The Ephron strain,
Yeah, the only time I'm anti-vax is when they try to get rid of the Ephron
Given
strain.
the age of the film, we're good to talk about full spoilers.
Yeah, I mean, spoiler
Yeah.
warning if you're listening.
All
If
right.
you haven't seen Contagion, go watch it. It's great. Also watch Outbreak.
In a
it's awesome.
nutshell, it's a movie where a guy gets cucked, and because he got cucked, he doesn't die of a virus.
Yeah, and the woman who cheated on him gets deservedly punished.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the moral of the
Ladies
story.
and gentlemen, get cucked and you won't die.
Don't cheat on your husband and you won't get a horrible disease and die and ruin the whole world.
That's it.
That's what I learned.
Yeah.
No.
But it's interesting too to think about from a modern perspective when how people reacted so strongly to COVID-19, and COVID-19 had like a 1% or 1.5% kind of
Mortality.
Yeah.
Mate, I don't know. I read some stuff on the internet that says it was way worse.
Oh yeah, but you also read some stuff on the internet today that says we're all getting cancer because of the COVID vaccine. They put chips in the vaccine.
Yeah.
Bill
So
Gates and the nanobots.
The cookers are going to
Yeah.
cook,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But it's interesting to think like this movie presents a case with a virus with like a 20% kind of mortality
Yeah, I mean,
rate.
that's the thing is like this is like it's a much more faster acting and lethal virus in the movie.
if we had if the real world had that virus, do you think people would do the right thing?
No.
I think they would when people realize the severity.
this is I mean, it's something we discuss a lot during COVID.
The fact is, the real thing has happened. Obviously, it's not been to the same deadly extent.
But that's one of the questions I had was if COVID was more lethal, would people take it more seriously? And I wasn't sure.
I don't think
No. Eventually, yes, but
the amount of people to die
even in Australia, as safe as we are, there is a portion of the population who would have to see literal piles of bodies in the street before they take it seriously.
Even then, they probably wouldn't take it seriously until they were directly affected
because
by like a relative
and this is not just in Australia. It's a big sentiment in America where your own personal liberty is almost equal to the entirety of the human race.
Yeah,
I think
that was the realest part when they're in the pharmacy and she's like, "Can you wear a mask, sir?" And he's like, "F you, lady."
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's
and like the thing is,
like realism
cover your
10,
mouth.
you know?
I'm like, that was
bodies in the street everywhere before these types of people will wear a mask.
In places like Spain and Italy, there were like huge mass graves.
In India, even in England.
And I think because in Australia...
Obviously not on the street, but England had... The morgues were shut.
Yeah.
There's too many bodies.
Because in Australia, we were less affected.
This is also an Australian-American problem. We're too far... We're isolated. America, the continental US, it's a lot harder to get into. There's less kind of border traffic.
And also, like Callum said, like America is in such a mindset of like...
Lots of rural areas.
Yeah, I would rather everyone
And
die
we get that here too.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
and
the most unrealistic part of it to me was the people like, "I need that vaccine now." I'm like, "Sir, that's
like,
boy, was that a bad prediction?" People like, "You a jabbing me."
There is
you don't get to save my life.
There's still people talking like that now.
Yeah, exactly. There is an element in the movie of like Jude Law's character being like anti-vax and like spruiking the ivermectin what do you call it, the equivalent the fake cure or whatever you call it.
The one thing I wish
but
in the film
in the
was,
movie when they roll out the vaccine, everyone's like rushing yay and everyone's like self-administering and giving it to their friends and family, and I'm like, oh yeah, I wish.
It was like trying to fight over the vaccine. It's like no.
Also,
like, don't you put that in me?
They would if that happened and you self-administered, people would have been like destroying them in the street and misusing it in all sorts of ways.
Jude Law's character, Alan Crumweedy, is he meant to be Australian or is he
think
meant to be like Cockney?
No, I think it's an Australian accent, and I
Why don't they just make him British?
Well, I thought he was maybe doing a like WikiLeaks kind of thing. Like he's like Julian Assange is a big thing. My guy's like a truth teller. Like I think maybe it was just a choice he made. I've never seen an interview where he says that or whatever.
Because it's never stated. It's never brought up. He's just an accent. I'm like, that's interesting.
I assume it was a choice he made to be like a WikiLeaks kind of guy. But yeah, I'm assuming he's an amalgamation of a lot of people. And also, like this movie came out in 2011, was probably shot in like 2010. So like Twitter was kind of new.
Yeah.
Smartphones was still kind of new. Like even though his character is quite, online and vlogging, and he talks about Twitter and stuff and social media, like they probably had no idea how far it was going to go. And this was before Trump and before.
I feel like we almost need a sequel.
It would be interesting.
Come on, Steven. Dude, I want a sequel. I'd be interested in a modern day sequel.
Yeah, I mean, this movie is like such a perfect movie on its own.
Not a sequel, just like it doesn't have to be directly
disease thriller. Yeah, it would like because like I said, like I love this subgenre of movies, and I love.
But it is a different world now.
Yeah, it is a different world. But yeah, it's always been a dream of mine to make a movie like this. But yeah, after COVID, it's just like everything's just so exhausting all the time. So if you just even mention anything about it, like the anticipation of a reaction just exhausts me.
Did you ever watch Epidemic by Lars von Trier?
No.
It's a pretty good one. It's more arty though. It's the same. It's an epidemic. It's in the name.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting art house take on it.
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No, that's all right.
I was thinking, what's that movie? And then I got it.
Yeah, I have to watch that one. I haven't seen that.
It's one of his early ones.
Yeah. The one thing I wish had happened is if Crumweedy, when they're like, you never actually got infected, sir. You just been,
That did happen.
Yeah, but they tell him that. But I wish what had happened is after that he actually gets infected.
Oh, then he gets and
it's like,
I think,
and he's like, I want the vaccine.
One of the realistic things about the movie is that he, gets quote unquote caught for his fraud. And I'm like, yeah, that's not realistic because in real life those people don't get punished. And then immediately he gets bailed out and he's like, yeah, you can't touch me basically. So I think that's like that's real because there are so many people, who especially with the podcasting and stuff in 2020 and on, it's like who are so harmful and spreading so much misinformation that just we'll never see any consequences.
The saddest part is, and there may be some people listening to this episode who personally don't believe in the vaccines and all of that, and like everyone's entitled to their own view, but there were people who were sick not to the point of dying, but they continued to get worse because they refused to get adequate health care, because they refused... Yeah. They thought that ivermectin would fix them. And it's now got to the stage where these same people who talked about ivermectin as the big cure for... the natural cure for COVID, like ivermectin is something you find in trees and in rivers. They're now using it for cancer too. So you have people who refuse
homeopathic treatment. And
like it's like a whole, like you can find people buying their ivermectin supplements online and whatnot. And it's like, oh yeah, it'll cure your cancer, bro. Trust me, you don't need that chemo. The doctors the chemo makes you sicker.
All the scientists are lying to you.
It does, but
obviously we are not doctors. But I'm of the opinion that it's like as long as you're doing what your doctor wants and medicines aren't clashing, do what you want. Yeah, as long as what you're doing. As
long as you're being treated in a scientific way, and then if you want to do something that doesn't if you want a side quest that doesn't clash with your
main treatment,
go nuts, but do what the doctor says first.
Yeah, and there's also a difference between like just snake oil bullshit that some podcaster is trying to sell you, versus like homeopathic remedies, Asian remedies that actually have been proven to
help. If your homeopathic
help.
remedy is like drinking ginger tea and eating...
But also, that's not going to harm you. That's not going to cure your cancer either.
But if your homeopathic remedy is taking a lot of vitamin C because the skin cancer that's the size of a hockey puck on your forehead is going to, as the chiropractor who claims as a doctor says, it's going to fall out, bro. Just keep taking that vitamin C and you die.
That's not good advice.
That's also not.
Also, don't trust doctors that say they're doctors. Go to a doctor. Don't trust people that say, I'm a doctor, take this tablet.
But you know what I mean? Like it started off as just this anti-vaccine kind of thing, but now it's like a little industry on its own of you can't trust what the people in the white coats are saying.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about with like the whole manosphere thing. It's like it's part of this anti-intellectual like and like you were saying with the American idea of like freedom, and it's like, I know what's best for me. I know what's best for my family. No one can tell me anything. I know everything. I did my research, quote unquote. And
that was the whole movement, wasn't it?
It still is. It still is.
And like from an
Do
American
your research. What's your research? I read Twitter.
Yeah, I read on Facebook.
From an American perspective, I can kind of understand how you get there, because it's like, if you want to go see a doctor in America, give me a couple $100.
Well, that's part of the problem. Yeah.
So it's like, if you live in a country where it's seen as almost a predatory practice, I can kind of understand how you'd get that mistrust,
100%.
because it's like doctors in America, for the most part, don't exist to help the poor. They exist to help people who can afford it.
And I understand,
but in Australia, you got no excuse, bro. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I understand like vaccine hesitation. You're like, okay, they're releasing this thing. We don't know. It's new. Like we don't. I understand that, but like these lengths people went to and still go to in this like years later, are still complaining about it, and how it's still like, and it doesn't just stop at COVID vaccines. It ties into every else thing in their life, and it gets worse. And it's like, if we couldn't trust these people to do the right thing and get vaccinated, then what happens when we do get to a situation where there is a more lethal virus out there, or something else comes up that they're going to have to do the right thing for their fellow neighbor, and they don't do it because you can't trust any of those people.
It's the part that again pisses me off the most is, like you said, you can have your vaccine hesitancy because the vaccine was developed incredibly quickly in terms of timeline. All right, you're not sure about that. They're the same people that then refuse to wear a mask.
Exactly.
We'll go out and cough on people and stuff. It's like, at least...
that's my thing. I'm like, sure, you don't want to get vaccinated. Stay home 100% all the time. Get everything delivered. None of those people... All those people were also people who are like...
You can't stop the lockdown.
In the lockdown. I don't know. I'm like... So you want your cake and eat it too. Like, you can't...
And the one of the things that frustrates me the most, I know we're supposed to be talking about the movie, but specifically about COVID, was the COVID mortality rate technically was quite high. And like I'm pretty sure that a lot of the side effects you get from the side effects in quotation marks, because side effects from the vaccine did exist, but not everybody's going to get them. So the side effects you get from the vaccine also happen to be side effects you get if you get coronavirus. Surprise, surprise. So they're saying, I can't get this vaccine because it might damage my heart or whatever. But then you know what else is also damages your heart? COVID. And it's this thing where they would rather get actually sick than trust the medicine to prevent them from being hospitalized.
Also, then there are those people who are like, COVID, but then also COVID doesn't exist, but then the vaccine is... and it's like, what? It's just this spiraling rabbit hole.
And it's just, you can't argue with it, but you try. You're like, so you'd rather be dead than with side effects? Because I'm like, I think most people would pick to be alive with side effects.
While we're airing grievances, if there's another major pandemic, please let supermarket workers be eligible for the vaccine.
100%.
We were literally told no.
Yeah.
We were told we have to go to work as essential workers.
Yeah.
But we were not allowed to get the vaccine until the general pop.
Yeah.
It's just putting it out there into the universe.
That's in the movie as well.
If I'm forced to go to work, I should be also allowed to get my vaccine with everybody else who's also an essential worker.
That's one thing in Contagion as well, is Lawrence Fishburne's character is like the head of the CDC, is like one of this, big government science head of department, whatever, and he gets the vaccine first. But the janitor who works at the CDC doesn't get it till later.
He's like, I've got people too.
Yeah, and then he gives the son of the janitor, and it's like this.
Yeah, screw that guy.
But wait, does he give his vaccine to the son of the janitor?
Yeah.
So the one that he was supposed to get, he gives it to the son, right?
Yeah, but I assume that when it's the son's turn, they will give it to... Or because he's the head of the CDC,
he just get another
one.
Like, hey, give us a bad batch one. I'll take it.
But there is this element of, and we saw it with COVID, it's like in a capitalist society, like the main thing still is, people were dying, and it's like, we got to keep the businesses open, we got to keep the borders open. And, it's like, they didn't care. They didn't really care. They didn't care about us. The governments don't really care about us.
I remember Alan in the studio here making a mad dash to get back across the border.
Yeah, hopped in my car. I drove home and I'm like...
Mad Max in it.
Got down the Hume Freeway, got back here, and I was like...
Alan's like, they're shutting the border. What a shame if I have to stay in Victoria.
Because I'm like, I'm staying at home versus... Like, my apartment in Canberra was a shoebox.
Yeah.
Shoebox and a half. Like, it was
And you have more stuff down.
It was like
there,
5
probably.
meters by 15 meters. That was my whole living area. Like my bathroom, toilet, laundry, bedroom, living room, kitchen, everything in like that much space. And I'm like, I die here.
Yeah.
I'm not putting up with this shit. I'm going home.
But yeah, the movie is a good time, and it is one of my favorites of that kind of subgenre of like science thriller, kind of ill disease based thriller.
Yeah.
Everyone should go watch it and get triggered.
I didn't rewatch it. I've seen it many times, but I was like, you know what? With the hantavirus and coronavirus, like I said, it makes me, again, not to bring it to myself, but like it's one of those things where if I think about how I was denied a vaccine, it makes me upset.
Well, especially for you guys, where if this I mean, you lived through the worst of it, but if this happens again, you know you're going to get it treated like shit again.
If we use hantavirus as an example, that's like a
40% mortality rate.
It's like a 40-50% mortality rate. If that became a COVID-like epidemic, it was really contagious. And if I was working in retail at that time, and they said, "No, mate, got to kill," I'd just be like, you know what, I quit. I'm not taking a 50.
You rather give me. Oh, you know what? I'd even email the union. Hey, I'd be saying to the union, hey, can we please have a strike because I'm not dying.
This is why we need stronger unions. Yeah. Well, I was working retail just as the pandemic was started. Luckily, I got out of there just like right around the time.
What a
Just
coincidence!
before locked. Yeah.
Don't look right into a work from home job.
Don't look at my stock trading option. So I was lucky, but when it was all starting and we were still working and people were coming into work sick and people weren't wearing masks or whatever.
We had the toilet paper wars.
Yeah, toilet paper, and I was like, can I sue the government? I looked into it. I'm like, this is ridiculous, right? And I'm like, can we go on strike? I'm like, this is why we need strong unions. This is why we need a mass movement.
I would just straight up be like, you know what? I quit. This isn't worth it.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be asking people to take a 40 to 50% gamble.
Can you imagine that? Also, your families will get sick and die too?
Yeah.
Got to stock the shelves, mate.
Don't care. Yeah, we got to keep the stores open. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Keep the commerce going.
At least the price houses will go down.
Yeah. On another level though, it's like there's the anti-vaxxers on one hand, but the most sort of regular sort of normal reoccurring thing is that people just don't wash their freaking hands.
They still don't.
Just in day-to-day life,
and
people are dirty dogs.
Yes, they are.
Do not just wash their hands in normal everyday life. They think they're special, that they're not dirty, and they won't get other people sick. It's also
about accidental transmission.
And even after COVID, people still don't wash their hands. They still go out when they're sick. They don't wear a mask when they're sick. They still do all the things we know stop the spread.
And it's never been easy to get your stuff delivered to you.
Yeah. All the thing. It's just like we went through this horrible thing, and when we were going through it, and it was horrible, and I was just depressed. I got even more depressed by the fact that I was like, people are not going to learn anything from this. And you know what? I was right. We got quote unquote out of it, and things went quote unquote back to normal.
The problem,
and we learned nothing.
I think the problem with what happened during COVID, obviously we kind of derailed this episode. It's not so much about the movie anymore, but it's relevant.
Yeah,
it was going to get there.
Exactly.
I think
this is your fault, Nathan. You're like, oh, hantavirus. We got to talk about Contagion. It won't be funny when we're in the hantavirus.
I think people also got again, I think it would have been different if, COVID was like a 25 to 30% mortality rate or something instead of the low number 1 to 1.5%, because people kind of saw that number and they were like, I don't believe anything you say.
Yeah.
There is an element of people thinking it was overreach. I don't agree, because the elderly and the vulnerable people, like friend Julian was immunocompromised at the time. And it's, I think people don't think about anyone other than themselves and their immediate family or contacts.
But that's a big problem.
And, luckily we had Dictator Dan. And he'd said, you know what? The needs of the vulnerable minority come first.
Yeah, I mean, that was my thing. I was like, I don't care if... That was my thing the whole pandemic. I was like, I don't care if I get it.
I just don't want my parents to die.
I'm like, my dad has... he's a smoker and he has a heart condition. I'm like, so I don't want him to get... My nonna is 80-something years old. Like, I don't want her to get it. I'm like, so, it's not about me.
No.
And it's like, it's the same with when people send their people who don't want to vaccinate their kids. I'm like, it's not just for your kid. It's for every other kid at that school.
Yeah.
Herd, what is it? Herd immunity only works if the herd gets the herd gets vaccinated,
and,
right? And then the one kid that can't get vaccinated for medical reasons is going to be safe.
Not to get even more political on this episode, but
ship sail, mate.
There was that.
Hopefully there's no hantavirus on that ship.
There was that doctor many years ago. Yeah. This is
why you don't go on cruises, people. They're just awful.
Yeah, I agree.
Disgusting. I don't know why people like going on cruises.
You know what? Every now and again, I'm like, I'd like to go on a cruise. And then I'm like, but apparently, like...
Nothing. You just always get sick, no matter what.
Apparently, if you go on a cruise, there's like a 95% chance you're going to get like gastro at a minimum.
Just throwing up and...
We live in Australia. You could easily hop on Spirit of Tasmania, go on a boat for 9 hours, and you got your boatness out,
The boatness out,
That's all you need.
Sorry, Callum, go on.
No, there was that doctor many years ago who got kicked out of the... I don't know what the word is when they take your license away.
Excommunicated.
Yeah, he got disbarred from practicing medicine.
Yeah.
But there was that one guy who was like, vaccines cause autism. And then like straight away, everyone was like, this science doesn't add up. Yeah. And then he can't practice medicine anymore. He's done.
Yeah.
But like the amount of damage he did to general vaccine knowledge and online talk, immeasurable damage.
You're talking about the OG... Talking about the measles, mumps, and rubella.
Yes.
Well, the best part about that is that gentleman never said that the vaccine caused autism. Like, specifically, he said this vaccine brand over this vaccine brand causes autism.
Oh, very good.
So he was still pro-vaccine.
Yeah.
It's just, he's like, this brand is autism.
That's always the way,
This specific company will give your son or daughter a disability.
Yeah.
This one, which I'm not getting paid for.
Don't look at his stock portfolio.
That was his preferred.
But you know what I mean? Like, people will take this guy's word as a gospel over, like, any other doctor.
Yeah,
and it's like, come on, man. Like, do you remember the like, Fauci lied, people died chance?
I mean, there's peer review for a reason, but also, it's like, I mean, we can't disqualify or discount the negative effect of like Trump America and like the online discourse and how like. Yes, there were anti-vaxxers before COVID, but it's like this. There was
talk a while ago of like polio making a comeback.
Yeah, well,
I'm like, cool. We get to reinvent why vaccines are important for first principles when our kids are in iron lungs.
We talked about Idiocracy recently, and we were like, haha, it's a documentary, and then you got people who are like, don't be silly, don't say that, don't. And I'm just like, look at freaking RFK Jr. and what he's doing. It's
eating
like,
literally
bringing like polio back and like, things that we thought were
eradicated
because of vaccines. But no, these people are evil and so stupid. And unfortunately, there's a lot of normal everyday people who buy into that. And not just in America, but
education
here in Australia.
is important.
Yeah.
Yeah, also the guy like eats roadkill and stuff. Like
he had a worm in his brain.
Yeah.
And
yeah, like no, like
he sounds like I don't even know what he sounds like. A gravel stuck in a fan.
To be fair, that's a hereditary issue, paralysis of the vocal cords or something.
Yeah, but it just adds to the shiftiness of his his just general.
This man's like, everyone's gonna suffer if I'm suffering.
Yeah.
My point is that like if a guy says some strange stuff and does some strange stuff, you don't have to listen to him just because he gets appointed to a certain position. You know what I mean?
Well, especially considering.
Hold on. Let's make ourselves hypocrites here. That kind of goes both ways. And what we like, I'm just saying, Callum, what we consider strange, right? The cookers are over there saying, "Yeah, Callum's right. I shouldn't listen to what the strange doctors tell me getting a vaccine."
Careful what you say. Yeah,
careful what you say, but listen to qualified people.
Yeah, exactly. Especially in terms of like Trump's cabinet, where he's deliberately placing people who are so not qualified for their position and are oftentimes like the antithesis of what their position is meant to be. So that obviously you don't want to listen to anyone in that case, but
thanks for listening to us wax poetic about COVID, everybody.
I guess this was like 6 years in the making. We were like, let's talk about COVID, haha, and it's like, no, this is depressing. We went to lockdown.
It's just been a triggering episode all around.
Yeah, years later, we're like, hantavirus. Well, this is the time to look back and let it all out. And
I guess like again, demeanor's changed and everything else. Like, at this point, if I had to go out for work, and I'd wear a mask, nice and easy, right? Because even though I have asthma, I can still breathe because that's how masks work.
Exactly.
But if somebody was to come up to me without a mask and I said, "Stay away from me," and they come close to me, they get a punch in the face. Not in Minecraft.
Yeah.
You know, in real life, because you're endangering my safety, and I will defend myself.
Exactly.
Especially if it's a 40% mortality. It's like, man, listen, if you're going to be approaching people, you better.
Even better, I'm going to get like a poking stick, start poking.
Stay
away.
Because technically, 3 out of 4 people in the studio would be working in an industry considered essential.
Yeah.
James would be alright. James
like I said, I got out at the right time.
James would still be able to stay home, working home, right? He'd be working from home. The rest of us probably have to go in.
But we also talked about it a few weeks ago. It's like we learned during COVID that most jobs don't need to exist, 1, and 2, most of them can be done from home. But because of capitalism and
this is one of the things, a lot of jobs exist so companies can say they're growing, or there's a lot of jobs. Realistically, it's like, what would happen
there's a lot of entire industries that only exist because someone was like, oh, you need this between. It's like we're all like middlemen upon middlemen upon middlemen, and it's like we need to remove all that. And
I'd say there's a lot of bullshit white collar office work that doesn't really mean anything.
100%.
And the only truly essential work for society are service jobs and like manual labor,
garbage
kind of jobs.
men, doctors, nurses,
garbage men,
retail
essential
workers.
Retail, hospital, farmers,
professional wrestlers.
We need our artists.
That's it. But it's kind of just like, I wonder what happened to the economy. This is a different conversation. But what happened to the economy if it's slimmed down and all these jobs don't exist anymore? That wouldn't happen because it would cause massive, untold, catastrophic damage to the economy.
Well, that's the thing is, I mean,
so we're stuck in this trap.
But this is the thing is, where this is why you use the current structures that we have in place, but you redirect them to help everyday people. So instead of using the stock market so rich people can make more money, use the stock market to track. It's like, okay, what's popular here, what's needed here, what's needed, and then you send, what's needed to certain places. Instead of saying, oh, well, we have to privatize this railroad, we can't do this. You go, well, screw it. When people need to get to places, let's build the railroad. So
it always makes me laugh when people say, oh, the post office makes no money. So it's like the post office is a service. Exactly. It doesn't have to make a profit. Yeah. It's a service for the people paid for by the
public
government.
Transport.
Yeah. These things shouldn't be for profit. You shouldn't privatize. Everything should be...
When we went to Jimmy Carr, we didn't pay to get on the tram.
Yeah.
And I was like, it felt natural to just get on the tram.
Exactly.
Yeah. It felt natural. Do you know what I mean? Like, I didn't have to pay to get on. I'm like, well, it's going there anyway. Why can't it take me too?
Yeah.
And Alan.
Yeah. Exactly. So it's just like... I mean...
Anyway.
God bless public transport.
We can go...
I'm going to go to the grocery store and stock up on non-perishable foods.
We got you covered for toilet paper, don't you worry.
Yeah. Going nuts.
We'll start wiping my ass in the backyard. But anyway.
All right. We're almost out of time for tonight. Thank you for listening, everyone, to one of our most unhinged episodes for 2026.
I think it was very sensible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, again, sorry, listeners, it got political. I anticipate we'll lose a few followers.
We talked about this. If you don't agree with the stuff we've been saying, like, get the hell out. We don't want you.
Normal movie reviewing will resume next week.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. If the Hunter virus doesn't get us.
If we just double down next week.
Yeah. But yeah, watch Contagion. It's awesome.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, everyone. You can find the Tuesday Review on some of the social media garbage at Tuesday Review AU on Facebook, Instagram, Newsmask, Blue Sky, Threads mainly, and on the YouTube at Tuesday Review AU. We're also on Letterboxd. I'm Nathan B_90.
I'm channeldrifter.
I'm Alum20.
And I'm Callum Tuesday.
And we'll catch you next week with some more lovely movie discussion. Adios, cousins.